UFC 4, baby. 10 nights tonight. We continue the series. We continue moving things right along. Welcome in. 0 people. We'll wait for this room to fill up before we get started, but I hope everyone is doing well. Anyone going back rewatching this from the beginning? We're here to break down the entire UFC 4 card. Watch it using Fight Pass, of course. Shout out to UFC Fight Pass for allowing us to pay $60, $80, $100, however much it is a year, to watch some old school UFC content. Guess what? I make a lot of use of it. And if anybody's looking for MMA content, they think, the UFC is getting a little bit stale, a little bit boring, go check out Regional MMA. We just had a couple of great finishes the other night in LFA. We've got UFC BJJ tonight going on as well. Not sure who's winning that. I think Mason Fowler, I saw, did come out victorious as the inaugural BJJ light heavyweight winner, right? First belt holder there in that division. Of course, we've got others. Andrew Tackett. Who else is over there? Mikey Musumeci. Listen, I'm not a grappling aficionado. I'm not a grappling phenom by any means. I'm no expert. But I do enjoy watching from time to time. And now they've got their whole BJJ UFC promotion with belts and everything. I mean, when are we going to get Muay Thai UFC? When are we going to get American Muay Thai leagues? I'm not so sure if it'll ever happen. But anyway, we're going to get things kicked off right away because it's getting kind of late in the evening, and I'm a busy man. Got to keep things moving and rolling along. We'll get things started about an hour, 29 minutes here, 90 minutes of absolute fury going down tonight in the UFC. Revenge of the Warriors. Oh boy, we've got more graphics to start off the show here. Revenge of the Warriors. Quite the title here for UFC number 4. The Golden Driller, the largest freestanding statue in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's get things going with a little history lesson. UFC 4, Revenge of the Warrior, a mixed martial arts event held by the UFC on December 16, 1994. Not too long after the last event, of course, being held in September of 94 at the Expo Center Pavilion. We got a new lead commentator, Bruce Beck. Got a fancy little tie there. Looks a lot like my background of the videos. Floral faces? I'm not so sure what's on that. Maybe his mama? I don't know. This is no exhibition. This is brutal combat. Jim Brown returns. Hell yeah. Jim Brown. Can't get enough of Jim Brown. Expect the unexpected, Jim says. Of course, he's been there. He's seen it all. He knows what's going on. Joe Son. Timo Leopoldo's manager, coach, representative. He's fighting tonight. However, we will come to soon find out that this guy is a bit of a shady character. And that hell of an understatement. Anyway, new commentator, Bruce Beck. We got Jim Brown on the call as usual. He's been there for every single event. He is the most hardcore of all hardcore fans at this point. Jim Brown showing up. He doesn't even know what he's looking at half the time, but yet he is there. He is proud to represent the UFC, whatever's going on there. And who do we have here? Tulsa, Oklahoma. We got an updated logo. Got the UFC man with a steel-plated number 4. 32 feet across this octagon. Large octagon. This is no Apex octagon. It looks like a lot of the crowd, they're just sitting mere feet away from the cage. I mean, this is much like what you would see celebrities, where you would see celebrities sitting. Of course, there's not any celebrities now. There's no fighters in the crowd like that in the same way. The fans are literally all up on the action, and that's absolutely awesome, I gotta admit. The footing is fast and firm, they'll have you know. We'll continue. Background. As usual, virtually all martial artists of any significance were contacted by the promoters of the event. The other way they recruited was that they later became known as Royce's challenge letters. Even Mike Tyson was challenged by Royce Gracie while in jail. Woo! All the way back in 1994. UFC 4 used an 8-man tournament format, the winner receiving $64,000. You see how they're steadily climbing up from 60 to 64. It's a big jump. The event also featured 3 alternate fights. All 7 tournament fights were shown on live pay-per-view broadcast, as well as Jason Farron and Guy Metzger. We'll come to find out a little bit more about that guy as well later on. The tournament had no weight classes or weight limits. Each match had no time limit or rounds. Therefore, no judges were used for the night. The referee for the night was Big John McCarthy. The guy likes to get a bit handsy, but we'll forgive him for now. He'll go on to be quite a name in the promotion in MMA and do a lot for the sport. Royce Gracie won the event by defeating Dan Severn. Spoilers, watch out, with a triangle choke. Card also featured the notorious fight between Keith Hackney and Joe Son. Hackney won via submission after landing a series of unanswered strike to the groin of Joe Son. This is going to be fucking epic. Play-by-play announcer Bruce Beck, color commentator Jeff Blatnick were paired together for the first time on pay-per-view and became the regular commentary team on UFC broadcast up and into UFC 15. Wow, okay, so we're sticking with these guys for quite a while. The introduction of them, they were joined by Jim Brown, of course, for this one. So we had some alternate bouts. We could go back and rewatch them. Man, I'm tired. I've had a long day at work, so we're going to skip the alternate bouts. Maybe we'll take a look at them. We'll see if they're even on Fight Plus. They might not be. Ron Van Cleef, 51-year-old karate instructor, practitioner. Revenge of the Warrior. All right. Let's see. I do not see any of the alternate bouts. I'd like to see Guy Metzger fight. Kevin Rozier, of course, we know. We've seen him before, Kevin Rozier. But I'm not seeing any of these on Fight Pass, unfortunately. That sucks. It's been fun to watch. Joe Son, Dan Severn, Steve Jenham, Dan Severn. Man. Let's see what it says if we type in UFC 4. I'm not super confident. Fight of the night, 45, 47, 4. I think we're out of luck when it comes to the alternate bouts. I was looking forward to seeing Guy Metzger early on. I guess we're going to miss out. Oh, well. Six and a half minutes into this broadcast. Hour and a half total. Royce Gracie on the screen. Look a little more freshly shaven, maybe a little bit more filled out when it comes to his weight. Not looking quite as skinny. Of course, the conga line we got going here. Was that a little baby? Nah, hold on. No way. Not Henner. Who's his brother? Huron? Is that the brother? Somebody out there let me know. I believe that was a little Huron Gracie, the guy who does the Gracie instructionals with Henner. Henner's a little bit more popular, but Huron's the brother that worked with him. I believe that was a young 14, 13, 15-year-old Huron Gracie walking out leading the conga line there. That's pretty fucking sick. That's funny to see him so little. Rich Goins, of course, acting as Bruce Buffer for this one. Oh, there goes the ring girls. Really focusing on them tonight. You got to see it. All right, we can move on. We can move on. There are fighters in here. Elio, of course, in the corner. Like I said, little ear on Gracie. Just a little kid. It's pretty cool, leading the conga line. Anyway, we got a 51-year-old in here. Oof. But we got to set up our next power ranking set. We can put Royce Gracie. I find him a little bit more trustworthy. Steve Jenham, of course, came in on short notice without fighting, not even once, and won the entire tournament last time out. Ron Van Cleef. Yep, it's Cleef. Who else we got? Keith Ackney, of course, returns. Joe Son, coach, manager, whatever, of Timo Leopoldo last time out. So we'll put him on there. Interesting character, to say the least. We'll find out soon enough. Melton Bowen. Oops. And we'll get our power rankings going. Of course, tail the tape. Ron Van Cleef, 51 years old, 5'10", 190. Royce Gracie, 27, 6'1", 180 pounds. He's slowly climbing up there. 170, 175, 180. He's putting on a little size, a little strength, a little muscle there for Royce Gracie. Gracie takes him down with ease. 51 years old. Can he hold up? Very tight. Holding on for dear life, Royce Gracie is here. Ron Van Cleef not spending a lot of energy. I love the American shorts. That's pretty cool. Royce, of course, wearing the traditional gi. Van Cleef not moving too much, not scrambling, not wasting any energy, which is smart because he probably doesn't know what the heck he's doing on the ground with a absolute jiu-jitsu master. Let's see what else. What else we got going on? Not a ton. A couple knees to the side of the ribs from Van Cleef from the bottom. 51 seconds into this one. Of course, the timer's going up because there are no time limits. That's right. How long is this one going to take, Royce? Of course, the main event famous for going the longest that any fight had ever gone up to the point. But for now, we're just rolling along. Royce is slowly working into full mount. Here he is. Ron holding tight, starting to maybe pull the hair potentially. Anyway, minute 20 into this one. Checking levels. Don't mind me. Don't mind one bit. There we go. Let me know if the audio is good, synced up, how the video feed's going. Anybody out there? Let me know. Almost 2 minutes in. Royce Gracie on top here. In full guard, but not working too much. No strikes. He's breathing heavy. He's working hard. Of course, 51 years old, his opponent. Royce, the much younger man. Half the age. A couple of back of the head shots there. Completely legal, of course. Nearly 2.5 minutes in here. Royce just slowly working him, not trying to get put in any danger, probably trying to merely avoid damage. Not a bad move, in all fairness. John McCarthy stalking the octagon, waiting for any man to slip up just a little bit so he can go put his hands on him. Just waiting, biding his time. Shades of the last time. not the last time Royce Gracie competed. Of course, that was Kimo Leopoldo a few months before this in September. This is now December 1994. Kimo took him and beat him up pretty badly. This one not taking any damage. Slowly working his choke in there, working the arm under the neck, going for the rear naked. Potentially, we'll see if he gets any tricks up his sleeve, if he's got anything to pull out of the hat. Like I said, little Huron Gracie. Orion. Not sure if Hoyler's there. Looks like a tap. Looks like a tap, and Big John McCarthy separates them. The 51-year-old taps out. Royce Gracie gets the win, takes little to no damage. They pull him immediately out of the cage. They're ready to move on and roll along. John McCarthy breaks it up. It's over. Shake hands, but come on. 51 versus 27. Did we really have much of a problem here with Royce winning? I don't think so. I'm sorry to Ron Van Cleef, but I'm afraid he must move into the 8th spot. Royce, number 1 right now. Steve Jenham. Keith Hackney looked pretty damn good last time out. Of course, he had to sub out due to injury. But we're in here. We're ready and rolling. Royce gets it done. Couple of big strikes from Mount. Not a ton. Gracie doesn't have the best cardio by the looks of it, I will say. But listen, when you're fighting another man, bare knuckle, it's tense, the adrenaline. I mean, you are trying to avoid damage at every pass. No matter what, holding on for dear life takes a lot of strength. You tire out. Your muscles wear out. And he's got to save some energy for potentially 3 fights in the entire night. That's a lot. That is a lot. And for his style, he's not the slang and bang, get him out of there in 30 seconds type. Royce has got to save up that energy, not wear out the muscles too much. And they're rolling in there quickly. They're moving along pretty darn quickly. Royce Gracie, of course, the favorite in this one. He did win 1 and 2, pulled out of the third one due to injury. This one taking place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Last time out, Steve Jenham, late notice replacement, came out of absolutely nowhere. Looked very, very solid, but he didn't have to go through anyone. Everybody else had to fight once, twice. Took out the big man, and he got it done. The cop took out the trucker. So, Royce Gracie will be taking on the winner of Joe Son and Keith Hackney. That'll be the next round matchup. Of course, that will be the semifinal. What to say? We support the UFC in Oklahoma, say the fans. They're excited. They're ready to go. They like to tell you a lot about how the demographics of the UFC follow a very standard line, but I will say the crowd pretty diverse out there. Kimo Leopoldo, the preacher here, not competing tonight, but Joe Son. Joe Son is a Joe Son Do practitioner. Okay, buddy. Hell and destruction are never too many words on these messages. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Can't even read what's going on here. But Joe Son, carrying out a cross in the name of Christ. Of course, this is not a very Christ-like man, not a very good, upstanding Christian citizen. But he claims he is. I think he might hide behind that veil a little bit. Joe Son, the Joe Son Do practitioner. I mean, what the hell? This guy's carrying a cross that looks 10 times heavier than what Kimo Leopoldo carried out last time out. He trains at the Lord's Gym. Okay. All right, buddy. Whatever you say. Joe Sando, practitioner, fighting out of the Lord's gym. I mean, whew. Oh, he's got red trunks. Born in Korea by way of California. He's legit got a Speedo on. "5'4", 236 pounds. Big John McCarthy is quite literally an entire head taller than him. Meanwhile, Keith Hackney, the slap heard round the world last time, he took down a 600-pound man with one big clubbing overhand slap. And he's back, and he's ready to go. Revenge of the Warriors, this one is called. UFC 4, that's the subtitle. A little bit less bombastic with his walkout. Kempo, Kung Fu fighter. He's ready to rock and roll. He broke his hand putting a beat down on Emmanuel Yarborough last time out. Was beating him so badly that he broke his hand doing so. Keith Hackney did. Not intimidated at all by the 600-pound man. Took him on, took him out. Finished him. Easy peasy. Joe Son, 24 years old, 5'4", 235 pounds. Meanwhile, Keith Hackney on the other side, 36 years old, 5'11" and a half, 200 pounds. California versus Illinois. Fighting in Tulsa, Oklahoma tonight. Joe Sando. That just sounds made up, man. Oh yeah, that's made up. The man himself fighting right now. Joe Sando created the whole entire thing. It's all made up. It's all fake, fraudulent, and a sham, and a scam, and a bam, and a boom. Bang, boom. All right, here we go. Rich Goins, growing a bit of a stash. Make fun of mine if you will, but this guy's a little rough around the edges. Joe Son, 5'4". Can you stand up to the bigger guy? We'll have to wait and see. Got a little weight on him. See what happens. Make it quick. Let's get some finishes in here. Quick finishes. Dangerous. Chaotic. Merciless. He's rocking the Speedo. Of course, his cornerman has no shirt either. For some reason, Joe Son. Where's Kimo Leopoldo? Did they break up? Keith Hackney, very stern, very serious. He's ready to rip, roar, and go. And there he goes, repeating the names multiple times as he announces them. Big John McCarthy. A young, fresh-shaven Big John McCarthy. Ready? Let's get it on. Joe Son immediately takes the center. Very aggressive in his stance. He has hands down, though. Keith Hackney ready to go. He's got a hand up, hand down. Moving, he looks fresher. Joe Son very heavy on the feet. 230 pounds, 5'4". Probably not the best physique you've ever seen. It does look fairly muscular. But Keith Hackney obviously in way better shape. Was that a calf kick I saw? A calf kick that wasn't invented until 2016. But yet we see them in the first 4 UFC fights or events multiple times. Joe Son with a takedown. Keith Hackney landing a couple calf strikes there to start the round. Fight, whatever you want to call it. There are no rounds. There is no time limit. Joe Son wrestling shoes. Keith Hackney barefoot, ankle wraps, gi. Keep working, fellas. Let's go. A minute into the fight. 1 minute into this one. 23 minutes on the entire broadcast. Joseon's on top, but not following up with any strikes. He could be kneeing to the head here, but he's opting to do 0 damage except for lay on him and slap him with his belly, I suppose. I suppose that's about it. Now a front headlock for Joseon. Keith Hackney fighting the hands. Joseon pummeling the back a few times. Nothing substantial. Keith Hackney just sliding across the octagon. Joseon's got a bit of a front headlock here. Pulling the leg, trying to pin him. Of course, there are no pins in the UFC. This is MMA. First man to tap out, get knocked out, or the referee to stop it. Maybe even a towel. We'll see. But he's hitting him with some absolutely brutal groin shots here. Pounding Joseon in the nuts. I mean, what a technique. I mean, who could have thought of that one? Of course, this is completely legal. Now, Keith Hackney on top. Hand in the face of Joseon. Joseon not liking that one bit. Keith Hackney trying to move into side control, some kind of mount position here. Not sure if he knows what he's even trying to do. He's trying to pull off Joseon's pants, and he nearly succeeds. And Joseon taps out due to being pantsed. Well, that was interesting. Nut shots. Tried to pull his pants off. Pressed his hand to the chin, and Joseon tapped out. Not sure why, not sure how, but I guess if you get your pants pulled off, you might tap out too. You might be embarrassed that badly. I suppose that's how Keith Hackney won. Nut shots and pulling pants off. Impressive. Plus calf kicks. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. All right, Joseon. Joseon might be even worse. He might be getting bumped down. Ooh, I don't know. Ron didn't really do anything, though. Just by virtue of him being 51 years old, I'm going to have to put Ron Van Cleef at the bottom. And Joseon. They're done. They're out of there. They're the two worst fighters of this event so far. We'll see if anybody can one-up that, improve, or worsen their rankings. We'll see. Dan Severn, of course, goes on to do many great things. See how he looks in this one. Boys so far still on top. But Melton Bowen, the only Western boxer fighting tonight. This guy looks quite jacked. He's ready to go. Got a little bit of cauliflower ear I see there. Again, we're 26 minutes into the broadcast. Melton walking out here now. Nothing so fancy as a conga line, but keep things rolling along. Steve Jenham, the reigning defending champion from UFC number 3, the late replacement, backup, police officer, and ninjutsu practitioner, facing the boxer Melton Bowen. Got a little pump cover. It says boxing there. All right. Very nice. Very cool. Very quiet game face. Ready to go. Tail of the tape. Melton Bowen, boxing, right? That's his discipline. 25 years old, 6 feet tall, 225 pounds, fighting out of South Carolina. And Steve Jenham, ninjutsu practitioner, 30 years old, 5'10", 215 pounds, fighting out of Omaha, Nebraska. You're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here for UFC 4. not too far away. Maybe he's got some fans in the crowd. We'll see what happens. Melton Bowen looks like a massive man. Very dense, looks pretty strong. Steve Jenham, of course, part-time fighter, part-time cop. Got the military crew cut. Reigning, defending champion Steve Jenham. Melton Bowen across the cage, giving him dirty looks with the yellow shorts. Is it South Carolina or Miami, Florida? Dude, the Wikipedia versus the broadcast, it's always mixed up. Throwback to a couple weeks ago when we were watching. And, of course, we had Free K-Maker. Yep, that's a real name. Free K-Maker. Real name, real person, fighting at UFC 2. This time out, we're 30 minutes into the broadcast. This is UFC 4, Revenge of the Warriors. Steve Jenham in the gray shorts, John McCarthy in the middle. Time to get it on. Let's get it on, he says. Anyway, UFC 4, third fight of the night, underway here. Steve Jenham bouncing, light on the feet. Melton Bowen also light on the feet. A little bit of back there footwork here from Melton Bowen. He's got the boxing shoes. Got the boots on. Steve Jenham prodding, poking at the calf, at the leg. It's time. RX, welcome in. It is the only time for us to enjoy. Welcome in. Welcome to the show. We're 3 fights in. You missed out on some uneventful fights. Some nut shots, some pants getting pulled down. John McCarthy getting a little bit handsy, stopping some fights. And a guy who tapped out due to having a man's hand on his chin. Pardon me. But RX, shout out RX. Awesome to have you here. Glad to have you. Talk some shit. Chat it up. 1 minute into this fight here. We're getting going. Melton Bowen throwing a couple uppercuts in the clinch. I like it. Behind the back shots. Back of the head. Steve Jenham gets him down. And Melton's going wild on the ground. On the back. Any bets hit on the card yet? This is UFC 4. And I'm afraid that the only man I'm betting on is Royce Gracie to likely, very likely, take home the crown, as Steve Jenham did not have to fight but one time last time. That's the only reason he's champ, because he was a fresh body getting in there for the third fight of Harold something or other's third fight of the night. He fought one time and he won. What a shocker. But here he is. He's beating the shit out of Rob Melton. Melton Bowen, whatever the hell his name is. Not that overrated bum Royce Gracie. Listen now. Listen here, RX. Headbutts from Steve Jenham. I like what I'm seeing. This guy's nasty with it. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Maybe Steve Jenham can beat out a Royce Gracie in the power rankings. Crone Gracie. Better than Royce. I'm not so sure. Did Crone Gracie ever win a title in the UFC? I don't know, buddy. I don't know, RX. Kimo Leopoldo's son. Now, listen here. Josan is one of the most upstanding figures that we will ever see in the UFC. Competed in this one. Got his nuts absolutely obliterated. Got his pants pulled off. 2 minutes 40 into this. Steve Jenham throws Melton Bowen to the ground with ease. Bowen's looking pretty damn exhausted, but he's still throwing some strikes off the back. He's throwing with not much, I'll be honest. But Steve Jenham laying the beat down on this guy. All right, Bowen. He's popping him with a couple of shots. Steve Jenham also looks quite tired now, too. Wailing on him from full mount. Maybe a little neon belly action here. We'll see. Unfortunately, we do not get the Master of Chaos, Kimo Leopoldo, tonight. Last time out, UFC 3. The guy showed out, even in a loss to Royce Gracie. Essentially finished Royce Gracie. Could not continue beyond their fight. Even though he lost, Kimo Leopoldo, standout star from UFC 3. Bowen's just smacking Jenham in the back of the head. We got, that was a big Big right hand on the ground for Steve Jenham. Come on, fellas. 3 minutes 40 into this one. Listen here. Nobody's got the elbows of Ricci. I'm not seeing them yet. 34 minutes into this broadcast, and I haven't seen a single nasty elbow like a Tabitha Ricci. I mean, I'm not sure you've ever seen a more dangerous elbow finish than Tabitha Ricci. Could have knocked out Godzilla with that one, let's be honest. 4 minutes 15 into this one. Come on now. Come on, Steve. Put this guy away. Melton, epic comeback. Fingers in the eyes. I mean, whoo, you guys getting down and dirty. Down and dirty. There was an elbow by Steve Jenham. I don't see a broken eye or a cut, though, so Ricci. No one has those perfectly planned elbows of Ricci. Now, listen. Fantastic finish for a small Tabitha Ricci who should be fighting at atomweight. Here we go, armbar finish. Steve Jenham's got him. He's about to tap. John McCarthy yelling, screaming. He's all over these guys. And he's yelling at Steve Jenham even though he let go of it. Okay. Bowen had no answer on the ground. Had no idea what he was doing. Steve Jenham pretty well rounded. I like the look to him. Good for Steve Jenham. Picks up the win. 4 minutes. Something seconds into that one. Hey. We got to move Bowen in here. We got to move Bowen in. Didn't do a whole lot. He's done. Steve Jenham. I like the danger. He did more damage than Royce. Royce took a long time to get that submission going. Jenham 2 times inbound tonight. 2-time champion. Will he retain the title? That is the question. That is the question. All right. So, Steve Jenham, number 1 ranked fighter right now. Could he retain the title? Could he become the second 2-time champion of the UFC, UFC 4? He'll be taking on the winner of Anthony Macias and Dan Severn. Now, if you know anything about UFC history, Dan Severn goes on to be quite a legend. But I won't spoil anything for you tonight. We're just going to have to wait and see what this guy does out there. He's a big, big man. Maybe, just maybe, he could be Royce Gracie's kryptonite. Of course, not too long ago, we saw Remco Pardo falter against Royce. He was a much larger man. We'll see what happens. So here we go. Anthony Macias, Muay Thai practitioner. Very dangerous. The art of 8 limbs, correct? Big John's the biggest of them all. Now listen, RX, you missed UFC 3. Emmanuel Yarborough, 6'8", 616 pounds. He dwarfed Big John McCarthy. We call him Big John, but we had to say Little John for that one. Robin Hood and Little John, yep. Big John was Emmanuel Yarborough's Little John out there. Emmanuel Yarborough, of course, large man, but he was put down by Keith Hackney's slap heard around the world. 1 slap over the top of the head, put down a 600-pound man. Very impressive last time out. Sounds like Tai Tuivasa. I'm not so sure he was quite as big as Tai Tuivasa, in all fairness. Tai Tuivasa, of course, probably 700, 800 pounds at this point. Looking absolutely massive out there. Of course, recently sighted in public. Had to be unloaded from the back of a pickup truck, Tai Tuivasa did, unfortunately. But he's looking to get back in the octagon. The new super heavyweight division coming in fast. Emmanuel Yarborough, about 60 years old, will be facing off against Tai Tuivasa, 700 versus 600 pounds. Epic. Dan Severn's got a bit of a lisp despite how manly and badass he looks. His voice definitely doesn't match the figure. Greco-Roman wrestler. Sad day in the UFC. They got rid of Martin Buday. All right, buddy. Martin Buday. What a sad day it is. Martin Buday. Probably the worst fighter to ever go on a 7-1 win streak in the UFC. I can say that. I could probably say that with confidence. Now, there's some bad fighters throughout the first 100 UFC events, but let's be honest. Martin Buday, probably the worst UFC fighter to ever go 7-1. I mean, he was absolutely atrocious. Anthony Macias, Muay Thai, 25 years old, 5'10", 190 pounds, fighting out of Oklahoma. A little bit of a hometown hero here. Dan Severn, 34, 6'2", 260 pounds. Massive man, fighting out of Coldwater, Michigan. We got Martin Buday. Shout out, man. Shout out to the legend. We lost a legend today. Not in death, but in being cut by the UFC. He absolutely fucking sucks, though. I'm fairly confident that I could say that he's the worst guy to ever go 7-1. UFC saved Tom's career, though. You know they did, because Buday, 7-1. I mean, he was about to go 20-1 for the rest of his career. Defeat everyone. Take out John Jones. He's the fight that would excite John Jones back. We all know this. Martin Buday would do that. Tom Aspinall is nothing. Absolutely nothing compared to Martin Buday. Dangerous. They got rid of him because he's too good. Martin Buday Francis, absolutely. This is the only fight to make outside the UFC. I really could care less about anything else. One championship, Bellator, PFL, it don't matter. Buday Francis, book it now. RX, you're a smart man. Anthony Macias. Can we finally see some Muay Thai, some art of the 8 limbs succeed in the UFC? I hope so, but I'm not very optimistic about it, unfortunately. So far, of course, Dan Severn, Anthony Macias. Who will impress in this one? Who's going to get out there and do some damage, create some chaos, bring down the house, get the crowd going, because they have not been too excited thus far. People are actually upset about the Buday being cut. Bro, RX, bro. You're a man with common sense. Here's Dan immediately in on the double. Keeping connection, avoiding the elbows. Big elbows by Macias here, though. Ooh, side of the head elbow. Woo. Anyway, RX, you're a man with common sense. Anyone out there with common sense, everybody out there in the chat right now, whether you're commenting, whether you're not, you know that Martin Buday, Anthony Buday, doesn't even fucking matter what his name is, because I don't give a shit. The dude fucking sucked. I don't care that you went 7-1. Who did you beat? Other than Buchecha, I couldn't even name him. And I watched all 8 of the fights. Don't even remember. Ranked fighter, don't care, get the fuck out. Jairzinho Rosenstrike, that guy got cut. I can understand some people being upset, but that guy was floundering in the top 10, not beating any of the top 5 guys, and they cut him. And you know what? I wasn't even that upset with it. Let him go on to do bigger and better things outside the UFC. Don't fucking care, because he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't making waves. We talk about how shallow the division is. Everybody's upset they cut Buday. Well, this is the problem. Everybody's saying the heavyweight division sucks, and you just got rid of one of your best guys on a streak. You're telling me that guy was going to beat a 40-year-old Marcin Tybura? You telling me that guy was going to beat the likes of a Romanov or a Spivak? Those guys are morbidly obese, and Martin Buday wasn't going to lay a finger on those guys. Wasn't going to happen. Dan Severn tapped out the Muay Thai practitioner, minute 45 into the fight. He got right after it. I like it. Anyway, if anybody's really upset that they cut Martin Buday and that it's a travesty and injustice, you don't enjoy watching MMA. You do not enjoy watching MMA. I'd rather have 10 guys that are really solid that we see twice a year than 15 or 20 morbidly obese guys that do not deserve to be in the UFC by any means. Justice for Buday. I just think you're an absolute fool if you're really upset about this. I mean, we're being sarcastic. We're joking around. RX, we're on the same wavelength with this. But anybody out there who seriously thinks it's a problem if they cut Budai, let him go to Bellator. Let him go to the PFL. He'll make more money there. He ain't going to do shit in the UFC. He's not going to get past his next opponent or the second opponent from now. I mean, RX has been waiting for my shorts. Listen, my shorts, I try to keep up to date. I try to do all the breaking news, but listen, it deserves an entire hour-long breakdown, Martin Budai does, because this is an absolute travesty. Absolute travesty. We need to really talk about this for about an hour or 2 hours. We need to devote an entire afternoon to the injustice and what the UFC has done to Martin Budai. He'll make more money in karate combat and Bellator PFL 1 anyway. Like, who fucking cares? The guy's like a technically proficient fighter. He just doesn't move well at all. There's little baby Huron leading the pack. He needs to go to PFL. Food ain't cheap. No, it ain't. No, it fucking ain't. And I'm not sure if he really can make much of a career for himself in fighting if he doesn't go to the PFL. Now, he won't ever fight Francis, I can tell you that. Nobody fucking cares about that guy. I'm sorry. Least impressive 7-fight win streak I've ever seen. I've ever heard of. I don't know. I really don't understand how so many people are that upset about it. Who fucking cares? The division's shallow as shit. We know this. I don't need to see anybody outside the top 6, 7 at heavyweight. Don't need to see any of them. Who's your big prospect? Mario Pinto? Really? That's your guy? Go back and rewatch that Contender Series fight. What are they going to do next? Cut the Tafa Bros? Oh, they can't do that now. They can't do that now. I mean, at least the Tafa Bros, when they get in there, they come in there and they just throw down the gauntlet and swing for the heavens, you know? They swing for the absolute edges of the fence. Martin Budai is not fun to watch at all. He's got more decisions than he has finishes. What the fuck do I want to watch that at heavyweight? I'd rather see some fat slob go in there with power slap technique and try to light somebody up. I mean, Derek Lewis isn't the most technical fighter, but he goes in there and gets wins, doesn't he? Right. They lose better than Budai wins. I mean, we're joking around, but that's pretty well said, I got to admit. I really couldn't think of a better way to phrase it. The Tapa brothers go in there and throw down, and shit happens. They get picked up, slammed, submitted. They go back and forth in a scrappy war, throwing haymakers, huge hammer fists every which way. Martin Budai, what's he going in there? Poking and prodding with a jab and trying to take some guy down slowly? How am I not watching UFC BJJ 2? Is it live now? Oof, I don't know. I thought it was over at this point. Here we go. Tail of the tape. Keith Hackney, 36, 5'11", 200 pounds. Royce Gracie, 27, 6'1", 180 pounds. Woo-wee. Woo-wee. All right. I'll keep Dan Severn at 4. Royce Gracie was maybe the least impressive tonight. Let me take that back. I need Hoist to show me something here. He's the 4th best guy so far tonight. Layup, Keith Hackney. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're 48 minutes into this broadcast. We're getting ready to go. There's Budai in the rankings. I'm not sure. I think he's 13 or 14. I think he's 13 or 14. They might have already taken him out for all we know. Oh, he got bumped up to 12. Oh, boy. Woo! What a travesty. They let go the 12th best fighter in the heavyweight division. Oh, my goodness. The UFC, what are you doing? Absolute travesty. Absolute embarrassment. What a joke of a company. What a joke of a company. There we go. Women's 135 has more respect than the heavyweights. I can't even name you 5 bantamweight women. I got to be honest. That's a lie, but I pretend like I can't because only 2 or 3 of them matter. Quite literally, Amanda, Juliana, and Kayla are the only ones that matter. And Juliana only matters because she runs her mouth. You're done watching after today. Tom Aspinall just less interesting than Kayla Harrison. Just an absolute fact, fellas. Just a fact, man. And I'm not lying about that. That's not sarcastic, I swear. All right, Keith with some magic hands. Royce walking him down. Goes for a takedown. Oh, my. Keith Hackney lays it on him. Hits him with a couple of right hands, just spamming right hands on Royce's chin. Tomorrow, Martin Budai, tribute stream. Oh. If we're not paying tribute, honoring Martin Budai with a 12-hour stream tomorrow, you're just not an MMA fan. You're not a hardcore fan. Get Kayla off your screen. No. Kayla Harrison's ready to go, man. 1 minute into the fight, Royce has attempted 2 takedowns, gotten nothing from him. Keith Hackney has done some damage. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Gracie having some trouble on the feet here. Keith looking for that big old slap he took down the 600-pound man with. He could probably knock Royce out with that one. I mean, we're talking real power slap shit right here. Keith Hackney. But I was asking for an 8-figure contract. I mean, well-deserved, honestly. Well-deserved. I don't blame him. He'd probably make $20, $30 million in the PFL in just one fight. All right, Royce is in on the clinch. Can he get him down? Minute 45. Finally, Royce getting some success here. Keith Hackney, though, still laying it on, trying to do some damage. Royce trying to rack up that neck, trying to take him down. Keith Hackney grabbing the gi of Royce. Both barefooted in this one. Big John McCarthy staring at that toes, as usual. Staring at those toes. Gracie trying to trip him. A couple of knees to the body. I'm liking the look of that, Royce. Very impressive. Good there, Royce. Ooh, a couple of uppercuts. Big uppercuts from Keith Hackney. Royce is freaking out now. He doesn't know what to do. He's getting hit. I don't think he's ever been punched like this before. No, that's not true. Timo Leopoldo laid it on him. 2 minutes 30 into this one. Come on, fellas. Let's get a finish here. No more tap outs, no more towels thrown in. Do the Budai special. Lay and pray, baby. Lay and pray. We may see some of that from Royce here. Nearing 3 minutes in this one. Neither guy has hit the canvas. Royce has attempted some takedowns, trying some trips, not getting anything off here. Keith Hackney trying to look for those uppercuts, grabbing the fence to stay off the canvas. Of course, that is legal. Royce trying to hit him with some knees up the middle, soften him up. Okay, Royce. Okay, Royce. That's what I want to see. Mix it up, man. Do some damage. Get some submissions here. 3 minutes, 20 seconds gone by. Royce has got the arm. He's isolating the arm, looking for the arm bar. Hackney's head is out. He's on top. Royce is trying to get him in the guard. Doesn't quite have guard secured here. Going to tabletop him a little bit there. Mouthpiece near. Oh, big right hand there by Keith Hackney. That was nice. Very nice. Keith Hackney's mouthpiece half out. An absolute war of attrition. 4 minutes into this one. Looking for a triangle here, potentially. Oh, yeah, he's setting it up. Throwing that leg across the back. He's got the arm of Hackney as well. I mean, this is not a good spot for Hackney. Hackney's not looking too gassed, though. Maybe he can explode out of this position. Royce now doing some damage, punching him in the face. He's taking some shots. Should have been in the Apex. Listen, buddy. Listen, RX. They've remodeled the Apex to a whole different arena now. Whole different environment. I'm excited. I'm excited. The Apex is going to be whomping and thumping out there. They're going to be raucous, that crowd, this weekend at the UFC card for the main event between Tatsuro Taira and Hyun Sung Park. So hyped for the Taira card. Listen, not a lot of big names, but the top three fights going to be pretty damn good. Kevin Vallejos, actually a pretty solid card. It's a good card to come back to, considering they've spent a lot of money remodeling it. Now, I didn't watch UFC BJJ tonight. I was working. Didn't get to catch the front end of it. Not sure what the renovations look like, if the crowd's any bigger. I hope so. Main card, decent. Prelims should be LFA. We'll take a look at it in between these fights right here. Oh, man, that's a deep stretch on the armbar. Yikes! Keith Hackney rolled right out of it. Damn, son, that hurts. That's got to hurt. 5 minutes, 34 seconds into that one. Royce Gracie moving up the ladder. Keith Hackney getting bumped on down. Getting bumped out of here. It's over. Royce Gracie. Okay. I'm impressed. It took him a long time. I don't like how long it takes him to get these submissions. A little bit too long, if you ask me. But Keith Hackney, he has been eliminated. He has been eliminated. But did some damage. Came out. Looked pretty impressive. Not too bad. We'll give Keith Hackney a little orange coloring there. Since he made it to the second round. This is how the UFC makes rankings also. Listen, RX, I think we've got a little bit more of a scientific approach here. I think we're doing better on the rankings than the UFC does. The UFC just does their rankings for publicity, nothing else. But since you mentioned it, let's take a look at the UFC card coming up. Should we check out Tapology? Sure, dog. UFCrankings.com. ESPN looks kind of nice sometimes. We'll stick with Tapology because we can see their faces. And yeah, I am fairly excited for this main card. Danny Silva, 10-1. Kevin Vallejos, 15-1. Danny Silva, we were rumor was on the street that potentially wasn't going to be making it to the fight. Neil Magny, Alessio Zaleski dos Santos. A little bit of an old head matchup here. Some 6 good fights. Dude, I don't give a damn about Carol Hossa and Noro Canoli, though. Canoli. I don't care about that one. Scratch that one. That'll be my bathroom break. This will be my bathroom break right in here. Of course, shout out to the legend Carol Hossa. It's so good, I'm going to have to watch through my fingers while I'm on the toilet. But Neil Magny, Alessio Zaleski dos Santos, all right. Maybe they'll scrap it out because they're 2 older guys. Dos Santos still has some good power, though, so. But Vallejos, hot prospect. Ribovic Brenner is going to be a banger. Chris Duncan, Rebecki. That's solid. And Hyun Sung Park coming out of the road to the UFC. Yeah, right. Anyway, main event. We'll see how it goes. Hyun Sung Park stepping up on short notice to take a 5-rounder. That's 25 minutes of fighting. That's a lot for a guy. Not sure if he's ever fought 25 minutes. Let's see. Let's see if he's had any 5-round fights. Doesn't look like it. A lot of finishes. Lots of finishes. Good sign. I don't see any 5-rounders on the record, though. Of course, he has only had 10 fights. Rest of the card, though. Austin Dash, he still has some hope. He's pretty young. Still developing his game. Tresean Gore, Adolfo Vieira might be fun. Grappler, striker. Tresean Gore, pretty powerful. Fast. Not very technical, but he's fast and he's strong. Adolfo Vieira, of course. Fighting a middleweight. Probably cutting a little too much weight if you ask me, but I don't know. There's a little bit of value here. Felipe Boons and Rafael Estevam. Estevam's undefeated. Caitlin Souza, Pierre Rodriguez, don't give a damn. Rinya Nakamura, Not my favorite, but Nathan Fletcher's still pretty young as well. I don't know. There's some. This is by no means the worst prelim card I've seen on an Apex card. It's watchable. RX, I don't disagree. It sucks, but it's watchable. There are some moments of potential enjoyment here. Trayshawn Gore Vieira could end up being pretty fun, just because they're two completely different styles. They're each trying to bring it into their own world. Vieira is a huge middleweight. Estevam, we can watch out for him. He's undefeated. Bashi's very young. He's very aggressive. He can get scrappy. Nick Klein, Kulaev. I don't know. It might get dirty. It might get nasty. Nakamura, not the most exciting, but Nathan Fletcher, I don't know. He's also pretty young. It's watchable. There's some value. You should tune in case something fucking crazy pops up. If you're not doing anything else, I'd recommend it. But Caitlin Souza, the ladies' fights on here tonight, not great. The main card, though, I mean, it's a must-see. It's a must-see. We got prospects in the main event. We got bangers in 2 and 3. We got old heads. You can miss that. You probably take you go mow the grass or take a shower, take a shit. But Danny Silva Vallejo's, that's the one I got my eyes on. That one's going to be a fun one. But these two right here, I mean, we got 2 fight of the night potential fights type here. Both 155. If something fucking crazy goes wrong with either of these fights, somebody could step up. Who knows? I'm excited for those two. Guys that just fucking throw down and grit down. Throw the gauntlet fucking through down the damn. They throw down the gauntlet and get after it. I skipped 4 fights. Shut the fuck up. I don't care about Carol Hosman. Argentinians taking over. How many we got on this one? We got Ribovic and Vallejos. That was your time to do an Argentinian card, just saying. Anyway, we got Dan Severn and an alternate. Marcus Bostic. Bostic immediately taken down very quickly. Dan's all over him. Dan is all over him. Oh, this is going to be over soon. Eileen Perez, main event in Argentina. I mean, you'd be seeing all kinds of ass in that one. I'm sure she would love it. You'd never see her face all fight week, though. Dan Severn, quick victory there. Damn, son. Woo-wee. Dan Severn's got some good wrestling and good submission. He's number 2. Steve Jenham. He looks like he's out of this thing. We got to pull him out. Marcus Bostic. That dude fucking stunk it up, huh? I got to stunk that shit up real bad. He's number 7. Not very good, Bostic. Not a fan, man. Poster would be just her ass. I mean, yeah, dude. You know how they get like one fight on each side of the poster? RX? They'd have like one cheek on each side, you know? One cheek on each half of the poster. Ass versus cheek. There's a look at the legend there for you, Joe Son. Unfortunately, taking it. But the finals, Royce Gracie, Dan Severn. Looking forward to this one. Shall we skip ahead? We don't need to hear it about all this. We won't skip ahead. Put the tail of the tape. There's Elio Gracie. Go to Argentina or go to Doha. Hey, listen. We got some real big Qatari stars coming up here. Let me just tell you, RX. UFC Logic. They follow the money. They're a business now, RX. They don't care about who's the best. Royce Gracie, 27. Dan Severn, 34. 6'2", 6'1". Dan Severn, the much larger man, coming in at 260 pounds, while Royce Gracie only 180. But up, boys? Anyone watching out there, buckle up. We're in for a long one here. Might have to watch this one on 1.5 times speed because we're not going to get a lot of action, but we're going to get a lot of fight, just not a lot of action. Royce Gracie's got some shiners under the eyes here. About an hour, 7 minutes into the broadcast here. The last fight of the night. This is the finals to determine the winner of UFC number 4, Revenge of the Warriors. Dan Severn, black trunk, high-waisted, boxing. Not boxing. Wrestling shoes. Royce Gracie got the gi. And he's barefooted out there. John McCarthy, whatever you want to call him. Let's get it on, he says, and we're underway. 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds into this one. 15 minutes for a fight. You are correct, RX. 15 straight minutes of fighting. No rounds. This ain't even Pride rules. This is straight UFC. No time limit rule. Big John with the same gloves since UFC 1. Yep, he likes those. Plastic, neoprene, silicone. He's got some special gloves there. Nice, oily, rubbery gloves Big John's got out there. He's ready to put his hands on some men. You know it. The same ones? He might have the same ones on there. I mean, they are looking a little brown, a little wet, a little sweaty. So, if you remember correctly, he was nearly oil checking a few fellas. UFC 3, he didn't have to intervene too much, but he is now allowed to step in and stop the fight at his own discretion. So, whenever he wants to lay those dirty hands on someone, he's fully capable of doing so. By letter of the law, this guy can now put his hands on whoever he wants, whenever he wants. Dan Severn on top here. Royce Gracie not doing much, trying to throw some shots off the bottom. Dan just laying and praying right now. Got a real Budai character out here. Got Budai, probably came into the fight, came into the cage, 290 pounds, 300 pounds. Dan Severn, lean and mean, 260 pounds. We're about 3 minutes into this, not much action at all. Dan Severn still on top. Royce Gracie got the legs up. Nothing crisscrossed here. No triangle attempts, no armbar attempts, no nothing. Nothing yet. Come on, boys. Let's get something going. Come on. Ay, come on. I'm not liking this. I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. Neither of these guys known for their cardio up to this point, but we're getting a little long in the tooth, a little long-winded here with this one. Severn just too big, too heavy. Royce can't really do anything on the bottom. Looks like wrestling. Some good, solid wrestling. Maybe the antithesis of jiu-jitsu. 4 minutes, 30 seconds gone by. Or is it just the size advantage? Because, I mean, Remco Pardo was relatively easily taken out by Royce Gracie. But Royce having a lot of trouble with the wrestling pressure of Dan Severn here. All right, Dan trying to lay on some shots here. Royce slapping the side of the head. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Let's get it going. Dan Severn still laying in top position. Royce trying to cross the hands, put the right arm into the gi, grabbing his other sleeve, trying to get something moving. Just wait till we get to Royce Ken 2. Maybe the worst fight ever. Listen, no spoilers now. I'm sure that fight's probably pretty boring, but it's likely only going to last 5 minutes. Maybe, at most, right? Royce Ken 2, that one only lasts about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, you know. What's up, Reefer? Welcome in, man. Welcome in. How did you find this on your homepage? Because we're not casual MMA fans here. We're hardcore fans. We're going back and rewatching the entire thing. I'm glad that it was on the homepage. Sounds like a first for me. Little measly 400-something subscriber channel. Just having a good time, hanging out, chatting shit. Please get a clock to sync with your watch if you can. Listen, Reefer. I'm a poor man. I can't afford a clock. We're rewatching Budai's UFC career. RX, stop lying to this man. Stop lying to him. We're watching UFC 4. It's the finals. Dan Severn, Royce Gracie, watching on Fight Pass, of course. Minute 15 into the broadcast. 7 minutes, 7:03, 7:04, 7:05, 7:06. We're watching on 1.5 speed. Reefer, in case you didn't know, this fight goes pretty long and not a lot happens, so I kicked it up to 1.5 speed. Dan Severn just kind of laying and praying. What's up, Reefer? Hey! I appreciate the sub. We're happy to have you here. If you want to talk about current day MMA, I'll hang on a little bit longer. Broadcast's almost over. Live stream's almost over. Got to get up in the morning for work, but hey, if you want to talk MMA, whatever you want to talk about, I'm in for it, man. We're learning. I'm glad you're here so we can learn together about the history of the UFC and become hardcore fans. 8 minutes into the last fight, final round here. I shouldn't say round. Rip Budai. Reefer, let me know. Are you mad that they cut Budai? Because I'm absolutely not shocked, not mad. Welcome to Brady Highstand channel. Yep, that's me, Brady Highstand. Had some eye shrinkage surgery done though. RX, I saw a video of him. Probably because I've said it out loud. My computer or phone, whatever's picking it up. Not on here much longer. Hey, I'm glad you were here for the time that you allowed. For the time that I can try to entertain you. 30 seconds, 1 minute, doesn't matter. Whoever joins, however long, you can go back and rewatch the whole thing. Keep up. Of course, you missed out as well. We've got some power rankings, Reefer. No wonder he's been off so long. I mean, yeah. Not shocked. A lot of decisions for heavyweight. Reefer, you're my new best friend. You might just be my new best friend. You might be my new friend. I don't like to see a lot of decisions for heavyweight. I don't like to see it. And you know what? Fuck him. You know that guy wasn't beating a Spivak or a Tybura, even at 40 years old. I'm sorry. The dude sucked. Maybe the worst 7-1 win streak I've ever seen in the UFC. We've been joking about it the whole night. I'll hit the bell too. Catch you next time you're on. Yes, sir. Hey, UFC 5's up next. Catch us on there. We'll be having fun. Pop back in here. For real. Fuck them. Dude, that's what I'm saying. I don't care. And RX brought up a good point. Like, the Tafa Bros lose in more entertaining fashion than Martin Budai has ever won. Now I'm left with him. My thing says 3 people are still in here, so listen. We're having a ball. We're 11 minutes into this. Royce has got his toes all the way through the cage, not just in the links, but he's literally pushing his foot outside of the canvas, or outside of the cage. He's getting smashed right now. Not a lot of damage, but he's getting his face smashed in by the giant noggin of Dan Severn. Solid take. Reefer? Man after my own heart. Budai's coming for us. Listen, if Budai catches wind of this, we might all be dead in the next month. That Croatian mafia is coming for us, man. Just saying. Better watch out. Can't disrespect the man too longer. Hey, man, maybe he'll win $1 million in the PFL. He'll probably make more money in the PFL than he ever would in the UFC. So, you know what? I don't want to see him, but good for him. Move along, buddy. Don't need to see you. And, you know, whatever. Fuck him, dude. Don't need to see him. I'd rather see guys that are entertaining. Even at 750 pounds, I'd still rather see Tai Tuivasa fight than Martin Budai. Just saying. Those Samoans, those Kiwis, they know how to fucking throw down. Martin Budai might be the most boring heavyweight I've seen in a while. We're 12 minutes into this, and Dan Severn has maybe landed 10 or 12 rabbit punches. Royce just biding his time here. 13 minutes gone by. Come on, fellas. Let's get a finisher. Toes in the cage. Of course, that's completely legal. They can also nut shot, pull hair, do whatever the hell they want, really. But nobody's looking to do any of that. Royce Gracie's got his knee wrapped up. I wonder if he's got some kind of staph or infection there. I'm just talking because this fight fucking sucks. Anyway, looking ahead to this weekend, many moons, many years, many decades beyond UFC 4, 14 minutes into the fight, of course. We've got a decent Apex card, minus a couple of women's fights and Neil Magny. It's an Apex card you can tune in for the main card and be fairly entertained with. Some good prospects, some banger fights, and a decent main event between two prospects. Hyunsuk Park, undefeated. We're watching every card before Tyra's card. Hey, we're going to have to squeeze them all in. UFC 5 through 318, and then all the fight nights in between. We're going to just do a long 48-hour live stream all the way up to Tyra's card. We have to, you know, because I have that much time on my hands. Because, you know, I'm a full-time fucking content creator, dude. All right, triangle. Potential triangle here latching up for Royce. Let's see what he's got. Maybe an arm bar. Maybe he's isolated an arm finally. Has Dan gassed himself out winning this entire fight? He's got the triangle position. Pulling the foot down. This is not a good look for Severn. It's tight. This might be over. And Severn taps out. My goodness. Boy, does Royce hold on to those submissions for a long time. Boy, does he hold on to those submissions for a long time. Husamar Paul Harris. Shout out to that guy. Looking at your Royce is beat to shit. But he prevails. His last, well, not his last two. This fight, in the Kimo Leopoldo fight, he got beat up and then snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. You got to have some grit. You got to have some guts to do that. I'm afraid he is still number one. Still number one. Even though he's arguably lost a couple of fights. He went for Rose Carla too. I'm looking forward to that one. Budai Gracie, book it. The two best to ever do it, Martin Budai and Royce Gracie. So he's just Paul Craig. In this one, yes, he is Paul Craig Ankalaev. Shades of Paul Craig, Magomed Ankalaev, last second submission. Pretty much what's happened to him in the Kimo Leopoldo fight and the Dan Severn fight. I liked what Dan was doing, though. I mean, he looks very, very good in the wrestling department. Not a lot of guys can say that. Jenham and Hackney, they do some real damage. Macias, he came out swinging, landed some elbows on Dan, but the Muay Thai just didn't hold up. Melton Bowen, of course, the boxer, didn't really have much. He tried, got a couple shots off. He was trying to do some damage. I'll give him credit. Came out. Marcus Bossett didn't do shit. Joseon, he didn't have anything else. Now time for the Hossa and Nora Cannoli breakdown. Absolutely not. I'm jumping off of here. I don't want to talk about that. I'm running away from that breakdown because it's going to be on my other channel. 5-hour breakdown. Nora Cannoli and Carol Hossa. It deserves the entire thing. And then Ron Van Cleef, 51 years old. You got to put him last. He just wasn't going to do much on the feet. Joseon. Not a good character, though. Anyway, it's all over. Royce Gracie is your champion. He is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter. UFC 4, baby. It's in the book. Dan Severn showed out, showed up, put on some good performances. Royce Gracie pulled off the last-second victory 15 minutes into the fight. Got the win. Snatched it. Snatched it out of nowhere. Steve Jenham, Keith Hackney put on some good performances as well. Did some damage to their opponents. The rest of these guys, not a ton. Not a ton showed out. Not a lot. But Joseon, shout out to the legend. What a stud. Anyway, UFC Fight Night. What the hell one is this? Apex, ESPN 4,532. Solid main card. We've already been talking about this. UFC 5 is going to be good. Oh, yeah. UFC 5's up next. Then they're going to announce UFC 5 on IG later. Listen, I'm just waiting with bated breath for the announcement, RX. Vegas 108. Good grief, there's been a lot of them. Whew. I'm just waiting for the matchups for UFC 5. I mean, it's going to be a sick opening round opening round matchups for UFC 5. Should we look ahead we look ahead? Can't wait for Vegas 200. Dude, I cannot wait. The card that they're going to put on will be unlike any other. Let's look at UFC 5. Hell yeah. The super fight. The return of the beast. Of course, Ken Shamrock did not compete in UFC 4's tournament. Let's see what we got here. Of course, there was a tournament taking place, but thing is, the biggest fight of the night, Ken Shamrock, Royce Gracie, was not part of the tournament. Royce potentially seen as too dominant? Is that what's going on here? Reefer? Do I do watch-alongs for fight nights or pay-per-views? Not right now. Maybe in the future if we can get this thing going. It's kind of hard to talk to yourself for 7 or 8 hours. I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to sit there and stare at a blank screen and wait for people to come in when I see numbers pop up. I would like to, but at the same time, I do enjoy just watching the fights. There's plenty of other guys out there that do watch-alongs, like MMA Guru, Lucas Tracy, MMA Holes, like all these other guys. I don't participate or watch a lot of the watch-alongs myself. Just stare at the camera until people chat. I don't find that very fun. Because I'll start picking my nose or eating my boogers or picking my ear and twirling my hair. If not, I'll just get so bored and forget the camera's on. I'll start doing something weird, Or I'll start looking at my phone. I can't do that. I got to be here to entertain, man. If more people showed up on a consistent basis, maybe I'd consider doing it. But it's not really my cup of tea. I mean, there's so many other guys that do it. I just figure, why not do some of this? Why not watch, UFC BJJ 2 was tonight. Maybe we'll watch that when there's a third one. We'll do some watch-alongs. The Ultimate Fighter, listen, the fights this season have been pretty good from what I hear. Start really enjoying. Listen, Reefer, I can't do a watch-along because I'll be so engrossed and so invested in the Hossa fight. You tell me picking your nose ain't entertaining? I mean, maybe if I was 5 years old, it'd be entertaining, but at this point, it's just kind of a pastime. I just digging up there, mining for gold. Listen, that's my own personal thing. It's not for your entertainment. That's for my entertainment. Anyway, maybe we'll do some weekly watch-alongs, some LFA. Maybe if there's some some PFL. Maybe we'll watch some of that just because nobody's fucking doing watch-alongs. Do a tough rewatch at the end of the season. Maybe I will. I'll just run back all the fights because all the bullshit and drama in between, I don't fucking care, man. It's just a joke. I mean, I was excited for Chael and DC, but the way that they did Connor and Chandler, that season fucking sucked. I'm thinking two guys that are pretty loud-mouthed, they're going to get into some shit. I watched that whole thing. That fucking stunk. Don't remember a damn moment from it, except for maybe they got ice baths or something like that. I don't fucking care. Anyway. The show, I wish I could get into it. I love season 1. Season 3 is really good. Season 5, 6 are fun. Back when they could fucking drink on set, dude. Season 1 is just magic. They should let them drink again. Give these guys every terrible thing that they could get into. Let them have fucking hookers and prostitutes. Let them have drugs, alcohol. I mean, just fucking throw it all in the house and see who comes out on top as the Ultimate Fighter. Who's the best fighter when you're absolutely high and blasted out of your mind? Might as well. It brings some entertainment value. It'd make the fights interesting, who can make weight? Who's committed to this? That guy was smoking dope in the back, and now he's got to weigh in. I mean, can he make it? Anyway, Reefer, maybe I'll do some watch-alongs in the future, but we'll be doing some LFA, some, regional stuff, maybe some Ultimate Fighter if they do another season now that the channel's, growing and blossoming in front of your eyes. Maybe we'll do a tough watch-along just because it gives me some content to make. But listen, Contender Series coming up. Maybe we'll do some watch-alongs for those when I'm available. When I'm not working, we'll do some watch-alongs for the Contender Series. Because Contender Series is, listen, if you're a hardcore fan, if you've been watching the UFC for the past at least 4 or 5 years now that they're like upping the production value of the Contender Series. If you've been watching that shit, man, you know that is probably the best content they put out. 10 weeks of just absolutely amazing fights. When's my next fight? Brady Highstand, myself. Listen. I just had some eye deduction surgery. I just had a balloon shoved up my nose. You can go watch that on social media. Some hot chick was shoving her fingers in my nose. Yep, that's me, Brady Highstand. Had some chick digging her fingers in my nose. That's about what I'm up to. When's my next fight? I'll be fighting Volkanovski soon, or Merab soon, probably. One of the whatever division he's in. Anyway, if that's it for RX and Reefer, thanks for joining the show. We had a good time watching UFC 4. At least I did. Partially commentating. Weird training camp? No, I mean, listen, I was just getting prepared. We had a good time tonight. Glad you guys showed up, popped in, showed up, mixed my words up there. Anyway, that'll do it for me. It's getting a little late. Time for fucking bed. We're going to get back after it tomorrow. You guys, get after that shit. Have a good day tomorrow. Have a good night tonight. Sleep well. Can't wait for UFC 5. Good night, gang. That'll do it for me. A little tip of the cap there. But anyway, don't forget, anybody out there, subscribe, like this video. Let's get it on the homepage, because somehow, some way, this managed to cross Reefer's path, and now he's in here. Now he's subscribed. He's turned on the notification bell. Let's get this thing popping. Again, we're predominantly a news-based channel. We talk about UFC, talk about MMA. We're trying to be hardcore fans, and this is how we do it. Going through one by one, watching all the UFC events. Anyway, don't forget, like, comment, whatever the fuck you want to do. I'm not the boss of you, but you may kind of be the boss of me. Because listen, I'm just here to entertain the crowds, entertain the masses, and have some fun chatting shit online. Anyway, that'll do it for me. You guys have a good night. Stay safe out there, and sweet fucking dreams. Shout out Jamal Hill. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Sweet fucking dreams.